What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast, a weekly show where we talk about video games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. I'm one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined by Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno
That's
to
French for hello. It's
Is
a joke because it's not.
I was about to say, I thought it was Italian. It sounded very Italian to me. All kinds of confusion. But if this is your first time listening to us, thanks for joining. Like I said, we're a weekly show. We come out every single Tuesday, and you can subscribe to us across a number of different services, such as Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud for the audio version, as well as we're on iHeartRadio, Blueberry, a couple other things. We have a place on our website, teamchatpodcast.com. where you can see the full list of all the places we're available. But if you are like, audio's cool, but you know what? I really like video. Video's my jam. We got that for you too. Head over to YouTube, Team Chat Podcast. That's not the official URL because we don't have enough subscribers yet to create our own custom URL. We're working on it, and we could get there with your help. Team Chat Podcast needs you, Uncle Sam style. But you can watch it youtube.com or Twitch. So check us out on all those different places. If you want to get in contact with us, you can do that as well by sending us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com, following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, and subscribing, like I said, across our different audio services. We're also on Instagram. Finally, we are a completely listener-supported show. So if you would like to support us because you really love and are digging what we're creating, head over to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. And in return, we'll give you a cool perk like getting the episode early before their general Tuesday release and access to our private Team Chat Podcast Discord server. If you can't afford to do that, it's not really in your budget, that's totally fine. We will continue making great gaming content for you to enjoy week after week. And a special thank you to all of our current patrons who help make every single episode of Team Chat Podcast possible.
And of course, you can also help the show in free ways as well. If you don't have the ability to subscribe, you can still do us a huge favor by rating and reviewing the show on platforms like iTunes, for example. That really helps us keep the show visible and is available to more people who might want to give us a listen. So rate and review if you haven't done so already. It really helps us out.
And subscribe to the YouTube also. Like I said, I mean, that one does, the more subscribers and stuff you get, obviously, as anybody's familiar with YouTube knows, that does help out, and it gives you a little bit more flexibility in how you can market and promote yourself. And, we like what we're doing, and we'd like other people, as many people as possible, to enjoy it as well. So if you wouldn't mind help us out, that would be fantastic.
Did you watch a bunch of Futurama ever?
No, I've literally. I don't think I've ever watched a single.
Where is Zach when
I know Zach knows all your
TV.
He knew all your TV.
I was going to make a Hypnotoad joke, but now it's
sorry.
Never mind.
I don't know
God.
it. I mean, I picked up on a few of your references from SpongeBob.
I feel like you're learning SpongeBob through us.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I know I missed out on that.
Sometimes I still hear his voice. Do you know that meme? Sometimes never mind. You're not on the internet enough.
I guess not. I feel like I'm fairly present on Reddit and all these different things, but I guess I just not in the corners that you're in. I guess
you're on the wrong sections.
Okay, well, we got another big episode for you coming up. So what our main topic is, we're going to go through the 50 through number 1 games on the Game Informer list of top 300 games of all time. Granted, if you missed the last episode where we talked about this, we only started at number 100 because 300.
Yeah, 300.
That's a lot.
Too many.
It's a little much.
At least 6 episodes if we had done it in 50s.
And that's a big series. We haven't done 6 of anything.
Time for that. Yeah,
we haven't done 6 iterations.
Anything.
We're getting close with soundtracks, which it's time to go back and do another soundtrack episode.
Really is.
It's been a while since we've done one of those. Got to get our good buddy Zach back for that.
Old pal.
Good old buddy Zach. But anyway, so we're going to be going through number 50 to number 1. But before we do that, it's obviously, if you're listening to this now, we've already, by the time, this is pre-E3, before this recording, but you're listening to this at the tail end of E3. In fact, it's a Tuesday, it's the 12th. Nintendo is coming up with their last, with their conference of the day. So maybe they've already had it by now. So we've missed out on all the news, all that stuff. We're not that far into the future, not that far advanced, but we do have some other news about E3 that we wanted to dive into now of things that have already been released and talked about at the time of this recording.
A quick note to my future self.
Yes.
Okay, so Mogan, future Mogan.
Hi.
Mogan post E3 2018. First of all, I just want to say congratulations on your 100% correct prediction that the heads of Sony and Microsoft would come together in glorious union on stage at the end of the conference to announce the death of VR. You did good. You called it.
No, see, I'm about to have to bust your bubble already. Because that's one of the announcements here.
See, the thing is,
It's not happening.
This is pre-3. That's pre-E3.
Pre-E3, yeah.
So at the end of E3, though, it's going to happen. Good job. That's all I wanted to say to my future self.
I'm still saying no.
You did good.
Okay, so a couple things. We're just going to run through this list real quick. One of the big ones, the big official thing, and confirming another one of the Walmart E3 leaks, a new Assassin's Creed game is happening. It was leaked. An image came out of a keychain that was branded Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Speculation jumped and abounded as to where it was going to take place. From the keychain was a helmet, and from the design of the helmet, it matched up along with ancient Greek warriors. So everyone immediately assumed ancient Greece is where it's going to be. Ubisoft then later that day confirmed with a video placed on their Twitter, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, see you at E3, and with a short clip of a soldier, this is Sparta style, kicking somebody off of a cliff. So we'll learn more about that at E3. But they have said the only really thing that we know about it so far is that it will launch this fiscal year, which Ubisoft's fiscal year? Fiscal year.
Oh,
their fiscal year ends in March 2019.
Okay, gotcha.
So, but I mean, to be in line with other Assassin's Creed games in the past, they're normally always released in either October or November.
Yeah.
I would expect it around there.
God, that just seems so soon in relation to Origins.
It really does. Especially because, like, I remember them saying they weren't going to do something for 2018 because they wanted to build Origins out more. But that doesn't lessen my excitement for this. I tweeted when this news came out that it's such a cool feeling to be excited for Assassin's Creed again because of how much Origins raised the bar.
Gotcha.
So they're even it has been rumored that they're even adding in a few more changes into Odyssey that will deviate the game even further from traditional Assassin's Creed than Origins did. For example, dialogue options and the option to choose the gender of your character.
Oh, finally.
I know.
At least that one is a good thing.
Yes. Both of those things. So it seems to be more steering itself into the super like hardcore RPG arena rather than just like an RPG light that past Assassin's Creed games have been.
Gotcha.
So again, I'm excited. I'm pumped for that.
I can't wait for the modding community to eventually make this game what it truly should be, where Mario from Super Mario Odyssey makes his debut in Assassin's Creed.
So that was the other thing I tweeted. Okay, I got to show you this. I got to pull this up because that was the other thing I tweeted. I was like, let the fan art things occur. Let me see what I actually collaborations. Thank you. What did I say? I've been tweeting a lot lately.
You've got a different view of your Twitter on mobile than I do. How'd you get that black background?
Turned on night mode. I turn on night mode on everything.
Fancy.
So I said, okay, the leaked Assassin's Creed game is named Odyssey. Let the AC and Super Mario Odyssey fan art crossovers begin. Not an hour or so later, IGN tweeted this image.
Awesome.
Which obviously for the video people, I'll throw this up here. But it's an image of Edward Kenway? Yeah, Kenway from Assassin's Creed Black Flag, standing there with the Mario mustache on, with with Cappy and a
Goomba
Mario in the background, set with all this. So it's a big crossover.
Arena.
Yeah, so it's
funny.
It's pretty funny. So yeah, that's actually the only one I've seen though. I was hoping to see a little bit more.
Well, really, that's like the only thing I want out of Assassin's Creed. So if they could make it happen, that'd be super.
So I don't know if you know this. A quick aside, and then we'll get back to the rest of this news. In Assassin's Creed 2, Ezio, this one takes place in Rome and in Italy. The main character, Ezio Auditore di Firenze, is meeting his uncle, and who he's like never met before, kind of thing. And so this guy comes up and he's like, Ezio, it's great to see you. And he's like, and Ezio's like, oh wait, who are you? I don't know you. And his uncle goes, it's a me, Mario. I know. I love that. I love that little moment.
Copyright infringement sued.
It was a fun little Easter egg. I dug it. Okay, so Sony announced earlier this week, and at the day of this recording, we've only had 2 of these releases come out so far, but they announced that they were going to do a countdown to E3 and have a game reveal every day before E3.
Why?
Just to like get smaller announcements out of the way. It kind of makes sense.
I mean, I guess that's fine. It just seems like, stop giving away the surprises.
Yeah.
I want to be surprised.
Well, I mean, these aren't like super big surprises, what they revealed so far.
So what have they revealed so far?
But they're only doing like 5, I think. So they've done 2 already, 3 more left. Okay, so the first one was yesterday, which yesterday was June 6th. And they announced Tetris Effect, a PlayStation VR version of Tetris. It's made by the same Luminous, or made by the creator of that game. whose name is escaping me right now. But anyway, so yeah, it's they've just announced that pretty much. And that was all that came out. Today, June 7th, they announced the release date for Days Gone.
I did see that. That's
which is going to be
cool.
February 22nd of 2019, which then lets me know they are probably not going to, if Last of Us Part 2 releases next year, it will not be early year.
Yeah, no.
They're not going to put those two games that
and
close
that doesn't
together.
surprise me at all. I feel like Last of Us 2 is coming mid to late 2019.
I'm going to put my money now based off of this, late 2019 or early 2020.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I would hate it to go to 2020 because I want to play it now, but I would understand if the window that's what if that's what it necessitates. That a lot of fun things coming out of that one. They showed more in the trailer that this one and kind of the spin I guess they're putting on this one is that literally the world is out to get you. So like even animals are zombified in this game. They showed like a flock of crows attacking a vehicle and all this other different stuff. So it looks like literally danger from everywhere. So fun spin.
My.
We'll see where that goes. Okay, so that's pretty much the only thing from there. Other big announcement, Hitman 2. Warner Brother Games announced that Hitman 2 is going to come later this year, November 13th. November 13th. Unlike the previous Hitman, it's a direct sequel to last Hitman, which was broken out into an episodic version. This one will not be episodic.
Oh.
But yeah, so Hitman's coming back. Because I remember the IO Interactive, there's something about that. The developer of it was either sold or they sold the rights to Hitman. I'm fuzzy on that. But anyway, so people were kind of like, is Hitman's going to happen? Hitman's going to happen. Little bit of news here. Fortnite has been rated for Switch, is a rumor here, reported by GameSpot. Listing appeared on a Korean game rating site, but there has been no official announcement for a Switch port from Epic Games.
I wouldn't be surprised though, because they did just recently announce, and it's confirmed that the shooter Paladins is going to the hero shooter Paladins is going to be on
the
Switch.
Overwatch clone, as some people call it.
Fake Overwatch.
Do you see that? Do you see the thing that they used? Somehow, like who messed up on this level, I don't know. But they used as a background for a hero image, the background of like Lijiang Tower, like the load screen of Lijiang Tower. They used that.
That's really funny. That
everybody
doesn't
was
surprise me at all.
You already are being made like so many comparisons to Overwatch, and you messed this up.
Oh, that's really funny.
So. That's all I had for E3 news. So we're going to jump over now to our normal moment.
All right.
Mogan.
Now we have the real news. Step aside, child.
Okay.
All right. Out now, we have Super Bomberman R for PS4, Xbox One, and PC on this date that the episode is airing, June 12th. We also have Jurassic World Evolution for PC, PS4, and Xbox One, again, June 12th. Mm-hmm. Coming up on June 15th, we have Lego The Incredibles, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, and then both debuting on June 22nd, we have Mario Tennis Aces for the Switch. I'm actually pretty excited about that one.
I'm excited for that game too.
And then we also have New Gundam Breaker, a game neither of us know anything about, on PS4 and PC, again, both of those June 22nd. And then news! This is some exciting stuff for people that are still in console realm and haven't yet switched over to a PC. Both Sony and Microsoft are having huge sales going on right now.
Oh yeah, Days of Play.
Yes. So Sony's Days of Play sale is going on right now as of this episode's airing. The sale includes a PS4 Pro at $350. Jared, that's why I mentioned it to you earlier. It also has, and this is one I'm interested in, I might actually buy this, there's a special edition 1 terabyte PS4 bundle for $300. It's really pretty.
Just the normal PS4?
No, it's a special edition PS4. It's this
I've seen it. Yeah, with the blue with like the square, circle, triangle, and X on it. Oh yeah, that one looks really cool.
One. And again, it's 1 terabyte. It's just $300, and it includes the controller, which is also a special edition controller. So I might actually buy that because
it is a pretty cool one.
My old used PS4, it still works fine, but boy, does the fan make some concerning noises.
I've been thinking that same thing, and I looked up a video on how to clean it, and I was like, I could take it somewhere and get it cleaned for like $30. I'd rather just do that.
I don't want them to find a bunch of cockroaches in mine, though. Which
I have heard that like cockroaches love consoles.
Yeah. So anyways,
for some weird reason. Weird.
And then,
why?
So in addition, the Days of Play sale will also come with super low prices on select games, including God of War. They're already going to have a moderate discount, not a huge discount, but moderate discount on God of War. Huge discount on Horizon Zero Dawn. It's only going to be $20, along with Shadow of Colossus. They're also going to have some PSVR bundles. I gather this is their going out of business sale for PSVR, starting at $200. And
audio listeners, I'm rolling my eyes hard.
And then finally, and this is something that's really important for anybody that has a PS Plus membership, the 12 months will be $10 off for only $50.
Ooh.
So normally it's $60, but you can get a 12-month PS Plus membership for only $50.
Might need to snatch that up.
And even though neither of us have, well, you have an Xbox, but it's not like you play it.
No.
Anyways,
I pretty much should play single-player games on it these days.
So Microsoft is also having what is essentially their competitor sale. So they're calling it their Xbox Big Fun Deals E3 Week sale.
Days of Play is
That's
so much
the
more
whole,
fun.
yeah, isn't that hilarious? Xbox Big Fun Deals E3
Do you want people to buy your games, Xbox?
Anyways, this Microsoft sale will feature discounts on Xbox Design Lab controllers.
Ooh.
That's
okay,
cool.
now that's exciting.
Yeah, so that's why I put that
maybe
one
that's what I
first
want
on
for
the
my birthday.
list. So the Xbox Design Lab controllers will be $70 with free shipping. So that's just
That's not
something
bad.
that's
Like,
not bad.
I've always thought that would be awesome, especially get like one with like Team
And
Chat
since you can,
colors
like,
or something like that.
customize them and
They're
stuff, that's
really
pretty
cool.
It's pretty
That's
cool.
not bad. That's not a bad deal.
They will also have some pretty good deals on 500 gig Xbox One S's starting at only $200.
Okay.
Again, that's not bad,
Not bad.
either. They will also have a selection of Xbox One X bundles that will be at least $50 off. Again, those are pretty good deals.
Yeah, that's not bad. at
They're
all.
also going to have their own selection of games on sale, including Sea of Thieves. And what's that other game that people like that came out?
State of Decay
No.
just recently came out.
Maybe it was Origins. Maybe it was Assassin's Creed Origins
Oh,
that
okay.
I saw. Anyways, they're going to have their own selection of games on sale too. And then just a small bit of news from around the web that I saw. The rhythm-based games for Persona fans,
I saw
Persona
this too.
3 and Persona 5, Dancing Moonlight and Dancing Starlight, respectively, are both confirmed for release in the West in 2019. So frequently, those super Japanese games don't make it to the West, but they are this time
For
for
both-
PS4 and Vita.
Vita lives.
So even the Vita is getting Dancing All Night Moonlight. Wait, it's Dancing All... Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Dancing All Night.
No, there's one that is dancing all night there, but I think
And
there's
then
one
there's
that's dancing in the moonlight.
Yes, dancing in the moonlight and dancing in the starlight.
starlight. Yes.
Starlight.
I thought it was something like
So
sorry.
whatever. Anyways.
Who dances in the middle of the day?
So
It's crazy.
yeah, lots of people, happy people.
Not
Anyways, so yeah, that's all the news I've got.
There we go. So a bit of news that I was reminded of E3 because I started replaying it. And I'm hoping we forgot about it completely in our predictions episode and all that stuff. It's been very hush hush. Haven't heard anything about it. But I recently, because I had played like for 2 hours, put the game down and forgot about it. But I've been meaning to come back. Well, I finally came back to it. Ori and the Blind Forest. I want to know about Ori Will of the Wisps.
I do too. I want. Do they even have a release date yet?
No.
I want a release
So,
date for that one.
I had completely forgot about that when we were doing our predictions episode last week. But then I played it again, cried all over again at the beginning, and was like, wait a minute, Will of the Wisps. I need more
know.
Ori.
Yeah, we haven't
So-
seen anything since this teaser trailer last E3.
Yeah.
So I want to know more about Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
But with all this fun talk of games, it is time to dive in to the 50 through number 1 games from the Game Informer list. Again, if you missed our first episode on this topic, the whole reason for doing this is that Mogan and I are working on building out our top 10 lists of all time.
I'm really bad
Yeah,
at
you
this
gotta,
Vanna
like-
White
you
crap.
gotta, like, Angle it so the lighting
Yes, so the
doesn't
lighting,
glare.
there we
Whoop,
go.
oh, there it is.
Oh,
There it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hold up.
So anyway,
Yeah.
we're doing this so
Oh,
that
there
we can
go.
build our own top 10 list. And we thought, what better way to refresh ourselves on some games we might have forgotten than to go through a professionally curated list. And so that's what we're doing here.
And most of what we're finding so far is that the professionally curated list is a bunch of horse apples. So
What was the one that you got really mad about?
So many of them.
So we're going to touch on it a little
Okay,
bit, but
so-
after our first episode, Bro Mogan came on to our Discord and he was like saying like, wait, this game should have been way better. He had a bunch of all these things. So we actually went back and looked because apparently they made not only their official list, they also curated a reader list of the top 300
Yeah,
games. And
which
there were
was-
some big differences.
There were some.
We're not going to really go into the
notable
reader
differences.
ones, but we will say for a couple of those for at the end when we get through to number 1. But again, also just like with the first one, we don't and have not played all of these games, so we're not going to literally go through every single one. We're going to highlight the ones that we either think are appropriately placed in the listing or we feel like should have been higher, lower, whichever compared to other games that we have played. So We ended last week with number 50, or last time with number 50, Super Smash Bros. Melee. So that sits at number 50 on their list. Jumping down from there is number 49, as we're going to kick this off with Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Sadly, I have not played any of the Metal Gear Solid series.
Maybe you do or do not remember. Is this the first Metal Gear we've seen since 100?
It might be. I'm going to do a quick.
Yeah, I'm really obviously like Jared and I have not actually looked that far ahead in the list.
No, because we wanted to be surprised.
Yeah, we want to be surprised. Like we want the reactions
authentic.
to be genuine, the outrage to be real, and the Metal Gear series. I'm not surprised at all that it would be in the top 50. Metal Gear is a series that has been going on for so many years, and it's like a cult favorite. So I'm not surprised to see it in here. What I am curious to know is whether or not Metal Gear 3 wound up outpacing Metal Gear 5.
Metal Gear Solid is number 92.
Oh, okay. So
that's the very first one.
2 in the 100.
Yeah, 2 in the top 100.
That's impressive.
I'm going back just a little bit, just scanning here. Oh, did I miss one? Don't get distracted. Don't get mad at something else.
I'm mad.
Which one is it? Well, I'm looking.
So we obviously didn't see it, but I mentioned it last time we did this list. I said if Metroid Prime isn't in the top 50.
Oh, it's not?
It was number 113.
Oh, no.
I'm going to sue. Sue. Who did this
Metal Gear
list?
Solid 2 Sons of Liberty is number 138.
So again, this kind of just makes me think, I really want to know if Phantom Pain is in the top 50.
Because people love Phantom Pain. Because people
like Zach. Okay, 147 Portal 2. Bull. I
agree with that. I'm not like...
No, Portal 2 is literally one of the best games of all time. That deserves top 15 right there.
All right, there you go.
This is horse apples. Bejeweled at number 176.
It was a phenomenon.
What the hell? Anyways, we're going backwards.
I know. I'm trying to see if there was just any more Metal Gear games. But so far, 3 in this list that we've come across so far. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, shit. I still got another 100 to go through. All right. Well, so anyway, number 48. We'll just go ahead and move on here. Number 48 is Mike Tyson's Punch Out from the NES, which is a pretty. I played that one through a few times. Have it on my NES Classic right now, and it's a fun one. It's a classic game. Have you seen people making the connotations? From the Stanley from The Office that he looks like the trainer.
No. Also, I don't watch The Office that much.
What?
So.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Hashtag overrated.
No.
Anyways.
Okay, it looks like it. That's all there is. Okay, so yeah, so far only 3, 2, and 1.
Prediction
have been
Prediction.
There. So you think 5 is going to be higher?
I think 5 is going to clock in at number 27.
Nice.
It's my
27.
27.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we got Mike Tyson's Punch Out sitting at number 48. Contra 47. Sims 2 46.
The Sims should be just number 1.
What we got here? Robotron 2084.
Nobody cares.
44, Uncharted 4, Thief's End.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to go on ahead and say that Uncharted 4 and all of the Uncharteds don't deserve to be in even the top 300 games of all time.
You haven't even played anything past 2.
Yeah, for good reason. For well-justified reasons. So yeah, that's a bunch of horse apples, and I think it's stupid.
What else we got?
That's my official stance.
I haven't got to 4 yet either.
One of the big bads of Castlevania, Symphony of the Night. This is one of the cult classics of the Castlevania series. Did clock in at number 43, which is probably... I think it might be a little high, but Castlevania is a much beloved series, and Symphony of the Night, I think, is by fans considered to be one of the best installments. So, good for them.
Now, we are kind of blazing through some of these, not only because we haven't played them, but also because I'm assuming we're going to hit some heavy hitters on our lists already that we'll want to talk about.
We're getting to the big ones.
So this one was interesting that I'm kind of surprised. I mean, it's in top 50, which is a pretty good list out of 300. Fallout 3. I kind of assumed that one would be a little bit higher, but I'm betting that Fallout New Vegas will be higher.
Really?
Yeah.
Did people actually
People loved New Vegas.
That's so interesting to me because I feel like I heard nothing about
See, and this is the thing. I played Fallout 3. I played through part of Fallout 3. And it honestly, I love a good RPG. It just didn't grab me. Which I understand games are for everybody.
So this is one you think should be further down the list?
No, I think in my own opinion, yeah, it'd be way farther than the list on my own opinion.
For your own personal opinion.
As far as where it should sit as according to critical and fan reactions to a game, I think that makes sense.
All right.
But I will be very curious to see if New Vegas hits higher.
Number 40, we're skipping over 41. Number 40,
NBA Jam,
God
for
of
anybody who cares.
War.
Okay.
The first God
The
of
first
War.
God of War, not God of War 4.
No.
Because this article came out back in like March of this year.
Yeah, it
like
would have been pre.
So God of War is a solid game. And I love that one a lot. In fact, it's always been there's been a trophy that if you, I can't remember this exact title of the trophy. Basically, it's if you can beat the game and under the time limit set by another player who it's like 5 hours or something like that, 5.5 hours, something like that. If you can beat the first game in that, you get this trophy. And honestly, I think it's a doable thing, especially if you play it on an easy mode. But God of War, it's so cool, especially now playing God of War 4, seeing it's still, even though it's a completely different setting, tone, camera angle, everything, there are still things about it with environmental puzzles and different things like that still remind me of ones from the original God of War. So it's great to see that the influences of that game have carried through so far in the series. So I think 40 on a list of all time, very appropriate.
Do you think we're going to see God of War 3 higher up?
I don't think so. God of War
Really?
3 was maybe
Because it's your personal favorite, isn't it? Not including the new one.
Not including
the new one.
the new one is so good. But of the original ones, I think God of War 3 sits highest for me because it feels like the God of War 1, 2, and 3 all feel very similar. God of War 3 is the prettiest.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But I did really enjoy the first God of War. I mean, I enjoyed it enough to give the other one the time of day. But to be fair, my first introduction to the God of War series was the God of War 3 demo.
Oh, okay.
And I
So
played
you
that
went
and was
back
like,
and played
I need to play this
okay,
game.
I got
And then I played, and so I guess to be fair, so God of War 3, in my personal opinion, I guess because of that would be higher than God of War 1.
Interesting. Clocking in at number 39.
Oh, you're going to have some thoughts?
I've got some thoughts. So number 39, Ocarina of Time. So Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. I personally think it's like not a travesty. I just honestly don't think that I would put Ocarina of Time ahead of Breath of the Wild.
And Breath of the Wild was number 100.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild was way
those who
back
don't
at number
remember.
100, which again, that I think is a
And
travesty.
which one was in the middle? Was Link to the Past and the original Legend of Zelda
Yeah, A Link
in
to
there
the Past
also?
was higher up. And so was the original, yes. Both of which I strongly disagree with. I definitely would have replaced either the first Legend of Zelda or potentially A Link to the Past with putting Ocarina of Time a few down. I do still think it deserves to be in the top 100.
Oh, so you're saying it's top one. It just doesn't deserve to be 39. It
Yeah.
should be a little bit lower.
Yeah, I just think that from my personal perspective, I would have put it a little bit further down the list. I understand why it's here. It's one of the most iconic SNES games of all, N64 games of all time. It's one of the most iconic Legend of Zelda games ever. Its
Right.
legacy did extreme changes to the series. So I get it. I understand why it's here. I just think, me personally, I would have put it further down the list.
Because like Mario 64, Ocarina of Time was the first one to move Zelda into a 3D.
It did. It was
world,
the first one
right?
that brought it into the 3D world. And that being said, I would still say that A Link to the Past is the superior game.
Really?
Objectively, I think it's the better game.
So, but okay. So I know we've talked about this at length with Zelda and all that, but we probably we have some new listeners, I'm sure. Which is your favorite one of all time of the series?
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker. Okay.
It probably is still Wind Waker, but
Now we haven't seen Wind Waker yet.
Yeah, I'm concerned.
I'm wondering if it's going to be higher.
No.
Because I know you don't think it'll be higher.
No. If they put Ocarina of Time at number 39 and Breath of the Wild at number 100, there's no way. I don't think we're getting any additional Legend of Zelda. Like
Really?
from 39 on, I think this is as high as it is.
It's going to hit.
Because of the ones we've already seen. Some people think that A Link to the Past is one of the greatest top 10 games, period, of all time. And if they didn't put that ahead of Ocarina of Time, there's no way we're going to see more.
Interesting.
Official prediction, everybody.
There we go. Wait, so what was your other one already? Oh, Phantom Pain will be number 27.
Yeah, Phantom
Okay.
Pain number 27. It's my official prediction.
If
And
you're right,
no
how are we going
additional-
to prove that you didn't peek ahead?
I mean, technically, well, I don't. So this is Jarrett's personal property, the magazine.
It is.
I did not purchase
I'm
it.
a subscriber
Yeah.
to the Game Informer magazine.
So technically, I didn't have access to it until now. So we've got StarCraft clocking in at number 38.
I think that's I mean, I think
right.
I think StarCraft sounds about right. Not only for how great the game is, but also for its impact in like the esports world.
Yeah,
it was a major early player.
I agree. Yeah.
Also, soundtrack is outstanding. I currently have one of its tracks, Terran 1, on my running playlist because it is great.
Pokemon Red and Blue clocking in at number 37. Obviously, these are two of the earliest Pokemon games. I get why they're up here. Again, it's one of those legacy types of things.
Kicked off this massive series.
Again, I don't think that I would personally put them that high. Mega Man 2.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
It's actually Heart Gold.
Okay.
Fun fact.
There you go.
My favorite one
little
is Heart
tidbits.
Gold. Yeah, little tidbits. I don't think Mega Man 2 deserves to be up here at number 36.
Wait, is
I
it
think
higher
that is
than-
absolute bullshit.
Oh.
That's it. Mega Man X4 is the best Mega Man game of all time, people. Mega Man X4. So
Maybe
this
it's
is
higher.
ridiculous. It's not. This is stupid.
How do you know?
I hate this list.
Have you looked ahead?
No, I can just tell. I just know it's not going to be higher. And then I just really want to move on real quick to number 34, Resident Evil 4. I understand why it's here. Resident Evil 4 is arguably
The best of the series.
potentially the best in the series. Some people would still say that the first game is the best one in the series, but if it's not the first, it's 4.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
Definitely not 5 and 6.
No.
Definitely not 6. 6 was garbage.
No, not at all. So
7, I haven't got around to playing yet, but I hear it was actually pretty good.
I really don't think Resident Evil 4 deserves that 34 spot, but whatever.
35 was Super Mario Kart, the original one.
Boo. Moving right
Because
along.
we're all about 64. It's either 64, Mario Kart 64, or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch right now.
This page that we're looking at now has a lot. Yeah, actually, so
This one's a heavy hitter.
This is a big page. All right, let's strap in, everybody. Everybody get ready.
We'll have thoughts on all of these. Yeah.
Well, number
No,
33.
not that one.
Did we? So number 33 is Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Just Donkey
The
Kong.
arcade, the original one where you're the plumber, the unnamed plumber, who would then later be main Mario, climbing up the ladders, basically shoots and ladders.
Have we seen Donkey Kong Country yet?
I do not believe we have.
Do you think it's going to be higher?
I think so. Yes.
You think we're going to see
think so. I think Donkey Kong Country is higher. Donkey Kong obviously established the series.
Okay.
Was a huge hit in early arcades. Donkey Kong Country, especially if you've read more of like the, if you read the book Console Wars, or just a fan of knowing like these games.
This
I know
official stance
I know your stance on books. Books are for
chumps.
But the Console Wars book was awesome because it was all about Nintendo and Sega's like power struggle. And basically Donkey Kong 64 is what pulled the SNES ahead of Sega and helped pull Nintendo ahead when they had been lagging for so long. So I would be, because of that and how much impact that game had because of its beautifully rendered graphics, like this, the Donkey Kong Country is one of the prettiest games on the SNES, hands down.
Yeah.
And so I guarantee you for that reason, I think Donkey Kong Country will be higher. If it's not on this list in this remaining top 32 that we have to go through, I'm going to be upset and I'm going to need to figure out where it sits.
Nice. All right, so number 31, Battlefield 2. Do we have any thought? This is the Battlefield 2. No. Oh yeah, we did. My bad. I got my numbers confused.
They kind of laid this out.
Yeah,
odd.
it's not consistent.
It's hard to tell which one.
Number 32 is Ye Old Soulsborne, specifically Bloodborne. So I think that this is probably. I think this is accurate.
Yeah.
I think that of the Soulsborne's games, Bloodborne is arguably the one that I think the majority of gamers prefer.
Yep.
There are, of course, diehards that think that Dark Souls 3 is probably the best
I figured
one.
it's probably a toss-up between those two.
But on the list, objectively, I think that this is probably a good spot for Bloodborne.
Bloodborne is one, like, I've dabbled in Dark Souls. Enjoyed what I did, but ultimately got incredibly frustrated. Bloodborne looked like something I would definitely want to try out. I recently got it on the PS Plus when it was a free game of the month. So it's sitting on my list. I hope to get to it someday, but I don't have enough with it to be able to weigh in, really.
Yeah, just in terms of its particular brand of gaming, that super hardcore difficulty gaming with really interesting combat and super big bad bosses and monsters around every corner. Within that sort of subgenre, I think that Bloodborne probably is at the top of that ladder. Yeah. So that's a pretty good spot for it. Number 31, I don't have any feelings on it. Did you play Battlefield 2?
No, I didn't play Battlefield 2. I played Battlefield Bad Company. That's the earliest one of that
Sweet,
series
let's
that I
skip
played.
it then. Doesn't deserve that spot. Jared and I have played it. It's clearly trash. Number 30. Now this one is, so number 30 is Portal. So the first Portal.
Yes.
I don't think Portal is better than Portal 2. I think that Portal 2 deserved this 30 spot, and I think that Portal should be. I would just
because
swap
Portal
them.
2. I haven't got to Portal 2 yet. I played Portal, enjoyed Portal. Like I said, puzzle games are not normally my thing, not my cup of tea. But I enjoyed Portal, and I remember texting you and Zach because you both had already played it, and I was like, you were like, how far you guys? You were asking me, how far are you in Portal? And I was like, I think I'm getting through the training. I'm at like level like 19 or something, like 17 or something. They're like, what training? That's
like,
the game.
Bro,
you're like almost done. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I enjoyed Portal. Again, like I've played it. I probably won't go back to it. But so what about Portal versus Portal 2 makes you think that Portal 2 is better?
I think that Portal 2...
And I know we've talked about this in way past episodes.
I just think that Portal 2 took everything about Portal 1 that was already so great and just made it better. I think that Portal as a game is amazing. I think Portal 2 just somehow managed to grab at every thread that was already perfect and somehow wove a more perfect game out of that.
Well, because it did add in, it kept GLaDOS.
It kept GLaDOS. It
Added
also
in
introduced
Wheatley,
Oh, who is
voiced by the
best?
incredible Stephen Merchant.
Come on. And it still had all of the extremely fun gameplay.
Right.
I mean, when you actually really get into the puzzles of Portal, it's so engrossing. And I think that Portal 2 expanded on that in such a great way. I think that objectively it's the better game. I don't understand why Portal 1 is higher. I'm mad now. I'm really perturbed. Plus, the writing in Portal 2 is some of the
well, yeah, if you're going to have Stephen Merchant voice a character, you've got to give him some good lines.
It's one of the few genuine laugh out loud games I've played.
Nice.
Like I find myself hee-hawing on my couch at home,
giggling up a storm,
just chuckling up chortling up a storm. So yeah, I would have put Portal 2 way higher.
Nice,
but still, Portal as a series arguably deserves to be in the top 50.
Well, let's see. We got number 29, Assassin's Creed 2.
You have some feelings on this?
I agree with that. I think Assassin's Creed 2, similar to what you were saying about Portal 2 with Portal, Assassin's Creed 2 took the base of Assassin's Creed and expanded upon it in a way that added way more fun and enjoyment that made you want to stay in the game longer. Assassin's Creed 1 was a great game. I enjoyed the game because of its it was that fun mix of the modern and the ancient. It did have its faults with like trying to stay too much in the modern, where people were really like, just give us the ancient part of this story because this is what we really want. And like there was this, Assassin's Creed had this big world and all these different places you could go to, but there wasn't a whole lot to do in it. Assassin's Creed 2 let you do things in it.
There you go.
It introduced looting treasure chests to get money. You could have from your home base, your villa, you could go and like you could either do improvements to it, which allow you to gain money on a hourly basis or daily basis in the game to be able to help you have more money, so that you could buy more upgrades and armor, weapons, different things like that. So, and then also the story of Assassin's Creed 2 just expanded upon it. Also introduced the incredibly great character of Ezio Auditore, who I already mentioned earlier in this episode, and Ezio is one of my favorite assassins, my second favorite assassin. And I mean, I might need to go back and play some of the older Assassin's Creed games to get a fair assessment, but like Ezio and Bayek from Origins, they're neck and neck.
So here's the question. Do you think we're going to see Origins higher up on the list?
No. I still think
Okay.
critically, I think people loved 2 more than Origins.
Okay.
Origins is kind of like in this weird space. It's, although great, fantastic game, loved Origins. I think it's like this big deviation from the series and all into some different things like combat gameplay and different things that it included. So in those aspects, I think it's great, but I think it's a little early to throw it so high as in the top 30.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. Number 28, Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
I haven't got around to that one.
It
must be a good game. Thumbs
it's
up.
probably not. We should probably... That's what my official stance on that.
If you haven't played it, it's obvious. If we haven't played it, you don't need to waste your time.
Number 27, similar to StarCraft, we've got League of Legends.
League of Legends, I understand,
I
massively popular.
I get it.
Not my thing.
Yeah, no, personally,
I've played it a little bit of it.
I think it's stupid, but I understand why it's here.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, it made MOBAs like a really big thing in esports. I totally get it. I love a good RTS game though, but like the MOBA aspect, like that's how I could play StarCraft all day. But like MOBA, I don't know. I just don't enjoy that kind of RTS game as much.
Number 26, Super Mario World.
Woohoo!
So this is the game that immediately came after Super Mario 3. It also helped to herald in the... Which one would that have been? The SNES. Yeah, the SNES. It helped to herald in the rise of the SNES. So I think that if we don't see Galaxy as being higher than this, I will be perturbed.
I thought we already saw Galaxy on the list.
Did we?
I don't remember, but I feel like we did. We'll check later if we don't see it. We'll run back and double check things.
Again, it's one of those legacy games. I get it.
Yeah.
I see why it's here. I just don't think that it's the better game.
What's your favorite Mario?
Galaxy.
Oh yeah,
Galaxy 1. It's my favorite one still.
64 for me.
Oh,
here we go. And also,
wait, this whole page is like all for us.
Oh yeah. Also, you were wrong. 27 was not Phantom Pain.
No, my
Legends.
predictions.
All right, strap in, everybody. Number 25, Naughty Dog's masterpiece, The Last of Us.
So it's a masterpiece. Do you think it deserves to be at 25 or in the top 10?
I mean, if it was me, it's my... Unless God of War, the ending of God of War completely blows me away and is able to surpass in my mind both Horizon and The Last of Us. Last of Us right now is my number one game of all time.
Okay.
I love The Last of Us. The Last of Us has been my number one since the beginning of this podcast. Pretty much since I played. It honestly is the game for me. I've always enjoyed games. I loved games, playing them, growing up and all that. The Last of Us is the game for me that opened my eyes to what games really can be. Outside of like a pastime or a hobby, it showed that, like, to me, and I know the game came out in 2013, like that's late in my life and gameplay, as for me to come to this realization. But The Last of Us is really the one for me that opened my eyes to it and being just like, holy shit, games are awesome.
Yeah, we all have to have our epiphany at some time.
And that's when I was like, games are just as good as movies. Games are just as good as books. Fight me. Don't fight me because you agree with me. Everybody should agree with me. And The Last of Us is the game that set that up for me.
So in comparison, then, we have two more games that both of us, at least in some capacity, can make comments on.
And quick, one more thing about it. If you haven't played it yet, fix yourself and play the damn game. The Last of Us is fantastic. You will not forget about it. Ever.
So at number 24, then, we have Civ 4, Civilization 4, and immediately following that, number 23, Overwatch. Do you think that The Last of Us deserves to be below Civ 4 and Overwatch?
No.
You know what? I haven't even played The Last of Us all the way through, and I also agree.
I think Last of Us, honestly, should have been on this list. It should have been closer to... It should have been in the top 10, I think. I think it just
I'm surprised that it wasn't in the top 15.
For its tone, its story, the power of its story, the emotion of its story, the power of the performances that Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson gave as Joel and Ellie respectively are, and even all the different side characters, just great. I've talked about all the different side characters a lot. Noel North as the villain is David. W. Earl Brown as Bill, who I just recently talked about as just a great side characters and all this other stuff. It's just, I don't know. That game just hooked me in a way that no other game has, and I think if it ever doesn't leave my top, if it ever leaves my number one spot, it will be like, it's going to have to be a hell of a game that replaces it.
So they clearly seem to think that Civilization 4 is the best civilization in the
Everybody
series.
Thinks
then.
that.
So that's a commonly held belief.
Yeah, commonly held belief. But funnily enough, the one game in the series that I have not, other than the very first Civilization 4 is the only one I haven't played.
Oh my God, Jared. You're a bad gamer.
I am.
So then we've got Overwatch here at number 23, and I love Overwatch. I adore
Still playing
it.
Overwatch.
I still play it on the regular.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kind of not totally sold that. I mean, I get why it would have such a high spot, but I kind of don't think that 23 is right for it.
Where would you put it?
I would probably have put it in the 40s. I know
that seems about right.
That's weirdly specific, but I think it's top 50.
Still to be top 50, but yeah, it doesn't need to quite be top in the 20s.
Putting Galaga at number 22, that's just BS. That's stupid. This is objectively dumb. I think we can both agree Galaga does not deserve the 22 spot.
I played a lot of Galaga growing up.
But
its various offshoots. I don't play it this day.
Do you pine over it?
No.
Do you think about Galaga every day?
No.
Did Galaga emotionally tug at your heartstrings?
No.
Then it doesn't deserve the number 22 spot, is what I'm saying. Meanwhile, we've got Half-Life 2 at number 21.
I agree with that.
The Half-Life series is one that Jared and I have not touched, unfortunately.
I've started Half-Life 1.
Oh, okay.
I bought it on Steam. I bought like the Half-Life collection on Steam a couple years back, and it came with the games and then all this extra like DLC content. And I was like, overload. Oh God, I don't know where to start. And so I've gotten into.
But Half-Life fans are rabid.
Yeah,
and Half-Life
we all
made
know
a
about
huge impact
about the
on
want
the
for Half-Life 3.
People are clamoring over it. Okay.
All right, we're in the top 20 here,
yeah,
folks.
we're in the top 20 now, folks. So we've got Super Metroid at number 20.
Okay, so Super Metroid. This is
the SNES version.
Is this the very first one? No, because the very first one was on NES.
Yeah, correct.
So, okay. So why, as someone who's played more Metroid than me, why do you think this one is here? And higher, and what are they saying? Like, why do they say that it should rate higher, especially the Metroid Prime?
Yeah.
Well, let's go back and find Metroid Prime and read Metroid Prime.
I think it was number 113.
Okay.
So number 113 then. Oh God, okay, hang on, my ability to use... Okay, so Metroid Prime, number 113. They say that Nintendo previously demonstrated characters like Link and Mario could successfully make the leap to 3D. So Prime was the first of the Metroid series to get to 3D.
And it's on GameCube?
And it was the GameCube, so this was 2002. The bigger revelation was that Retro Studios morphed the key elements of the series, exploration and combat, into a first-person perspective through the visor of the legendary bounty hunter Samus. The result was both faithful and innovative, and Prime served as a springboard to a new era of Metroid games.
Okay.
Prime is better than Super Metroid. It just is. I'm sure that people super disagree with me on that, but I just, again, these older, 16 and 8-bit games, I understand why they are this high on the list. I just think that times have changed, and I don't think that they
shouldn't be held in such high regard forever?
Yeah, I don't think so. Of the two, of the original Metroid and Super Metroid, I do agree that Super Metroid deserves this higher spot.
Yeah.
But I think Prime deserved to be higher than Super Metroid. I do not agree with this.
So I'm going to throw in this little caveat for newer listeners that we might have who might not have picked up on past episodes and all these things. Why I don't have as many opinions on these older, more classic games is just because while growing up, we didn't have any consoles and anything like that. So my actual first console that I purchased for myself was the PS3. So I've gone back as much as I can to try to play some of these older classic games, but a lot of them I just haven't got around to yet. So Mogan, though, grew up with these games by her side and is able to provide a little bit more insight into those than I can. So number 19, we got Mass Effect 2. Again, another series that I have missed out on so far. I actually do have all the Mass Effect games. They've just been sitting in my massive backlog. But I do know that according to my massive, my backlog. It's a big one. I actually made some progress in it lately. I beat Wolfenstein: The New Order and Wolfenstein: New Blood recently.
Oh, okay,
just
nice.
like power
so
through those games.
So now you can finally move on to New Colossus.
Yes. But that's why I was playing Ori the Blind Forest, though. I was ready to have these Xbox games. My Xbox is in my office, whereas the PS4 is in the living room, and I play that more because it's more out there and I remember about it more. So I was like, I need to power through some of these. So I started doing that. So that's why I picked up Ori the Blind Forest again.
Nice.
All right.
But anyways, so Mass Effect 2...
critically held as like the best one.
Yeah, arguably. I think that fans and critics alike actually agree on this, that 2 is the best in the series. So much better than some other recent installments that shall not be named. And I know that some people love 3, but
it had that controversial ending and all that other stuff, so that makes sense why 2 would sit
I get
high.
why Mass Effect is this high. This one, I agree. I think that's probably correct. 19, we've got Counter-Strike.
18.
Revolutionized... Oh, excuse me, 18?
Yeah, Mass Effect 2 is 19.
My eyesight. Counter-Strike arguably has left a huge... Yeah.
With the lights.
It's left a huge footprint on first-person shooters and competitive gaming alike.
Absolutely.
I do wonder what actual Counter-Strike fans think about this. Do they think that it's the best one in the series? Because I strongly doubt that we're going to see more Counter-Strike between now and number 1. So I'd be curious to know if Counter-Strike fans think that that's appropriate. Obviously, we have no comment.
Yeah.
Good for you, Counter-Strike.
Yep.
17, Diablo 2.
Diablo 2, the Diablo series, like again, it's one of the ones that still Diablo 2 is still played in a lot of. We've actually been invited by our friend Spencer. Tell us, he invited us to a couple like Diablo 2 lands, so like it's very much in rotation. I've played a little bit of Diablo 2. I keep going back and like trying to get further and further into it. It's a fun one, but like also when my introduction to the series was Diablo 3, it's kind of sometimes hard to digress back.
Yeah, the technological advancements.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of don't think that Diablo 2 should be this high.
Diablo 2 is a way more, I feel like, of an advanced version. Like the people, I
Yeah.
remember that when Diablo 3 came out, that a lot of people kind of felt like it was almost a dumbed down version of 2. Although for me, that's great because there's a lot, like, it was a super fun game. I had a ton of fun playing Diablo 3, but the little bits I played of Diablo 2, I've just been like, what am I doing?
I guess people would argue that Diablo 2 is the more pure experience of this dungeon crawler type series. That's all well and good. I just don't really have any opinions on it. Chrono Trigger, number 16. Chrono Trigger is still held as one of the best kind of JRPGs of all time.
Yes.
I don't super agree with that, but this one, I get why it's here, and I'm not going to fight people on it.
You understand its importance.
Yeah, I do get its importance. It did. People still go back and play Chrono Trigger a lot.
Yeah.
And it's on the SNES Classic, isn't it?
I believe it is.
Yeah, it should be, because if it's not, that's stupid. Number 15, BioShock, the first one.
Okay.
I do not agree with this at all.
I don't either.
No.
That seems very high for this game.
I think that both BioShock 2 and BioShock Infinite are better games. I don't think that BioShock 1 should even have been in the top 100. I think that Infinite deserves this spot.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I know that some people think that it's not that good of a game. I love Infinite. And BioShock 1, when you go back and try to play it, it has aged painfully. It's not.
I played it once and haven't gone back to it.
It
was one of those. See, that's the thing. It was one of those games that for me didn't feel the necessitate needing to go back to play it a second time.
That being said, it did have a killer ending. Like
Yes.
the ending of the first BioShock was like world rocking.
Such a great twist with the whole
was
thing
such a
of like
fun
make you
twist.
think Andrew Ryan's going to be the big bad, and then you just like bludgeon him easily, and you're like, what is going on? And then it reveals that Atlas is the big
that
bad.
was such a fun
You got to fight him. That was crazy.
That was
the whole like
awesome.
mind brainwashing stuff with the Wood Kindly.
Oh yeah, but from a gameplay perspective, I don't think that it deserved this spot at all. I think that it had clunky gameplay mechanics.
That's what I was about to say. I remember getting very frustrated, trying to shoot
Yes.
what are the bad guys called? The
Big Daddies.
No.
Oh,
they
no?
are called Big Daddies.
Splicers.
Thank you.
Go.
Yeah, like I remember being very frustrated trying to shoot them. Yeah. It's either shoot them or use your what are those called?
Vigors.
Yes. Thank you.
You're lucky I can remember stuff.
I know. Normally I'm really good at that, but for some reason with BioShock,
Vigors, right? Oh God, what if I'm wrong?
I'm going to look it up. We don't want to be wrong.
Anyway, so the point is, we both disagree with BioShock having this spot.
I understand that it was like a big thing, but I really
want Bro Mogan to chime in on this because he can rage against BioShock for days.
Really?
Bro Mogan,
he hates it that much?
He hates it. Bro Mogan, this is your time to shine, buddy. Rage against BioShock 1 at spot number 15.
Rage against the machine.
Similar rage, number 14, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Okay.
Again, I get it. I understand why this game is at number 14. Do I think it deserves it? Hell no. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is not one of the top 14 games of all time. This is stupid. If anything, it's Tekken Tournament 2. What are they thinking? Tekken Tag Tournament 2. I'm just kidding. But anyways, I think there are many other fighters that are better than that, and I don't think that deserves such a high spot.
Plasmids. Or what they're called in BioShock.
Why am I thinking Vigors?
I don't know, but that sounds familiar to me too.
Plasmids. Maybe they changed it in Infinite.
Maybe. That would make sense because you're underground.
You talk about Doom. I'm going to look that up.
So Doom, and this is the original PC version from 1993. I have not played this Doom. I played Doom 2016. And loved Doom 2016. Now, the big thing about Doom and why I think that it definitely deserves to be this high on the list is because of its impact on modern first-person shooters. It was the one, like, obviously it made waves with how violent and gory it was.
It really perturbed religious people. Which,
definitely. You're fighting demons.
Sure, good
and
job.
This is when people were still trying to figure out what the hell video games are. It was still early enough in their history, in the industry's history, where people were like, it's like when people freaked out about the first Mortal Kombat and all that different stuff coming out. And so this one where you're like shooting these demons and it's gory, as much of these older games a 1993 game could be with its graphics, but at the time was groundbreaking. So I absolutely agree that Doom deserves its place on this map.
In Infinite, they were called Vigors.
Okay.
There we
go.
My bad.
So we were both I mean,
I was
you were
kind
of
of right,
I had no opinion.
but still wrong.
But then also, with its 3D space and Doom did a lot for first-person shooters and was one of the earliest first-person shooters because, obviously the early 90s was that transition period from, the 2D side-scrollers of the 80s to the more 3D worlds of the 90s.
Perhaps you could even say that without Doom, we would never have had Soulsborne.
It's possible.
Doom introduced the world to fighting demons really, really hard.
I mean, Doom 2016 is a great game.
Yeah.
Like, from every bit of it. Like, it is one of those. So this is the thing. Gotta restart the camera here. Brief aside on this. Like I just said, I finished playing Wolfenstein, New Order, and The Old Blood. Haven't got to New Colossus yet. But both Doom 2016 and Wolfenstein are very similar. In fact, Bethesda has a hand in both. Of the two, like, I get their similarities in their gameplay, style, and all this. Doom was the far superior.
Wow, I know by a lot.
I know Wolfenstein, like Brandon, our buddy Brandon, he loves the Wolfenstein games. I enjoyed the Wolfenstein games. They were okay, but I often found myself getting very frustrated with it. Either in just like how maddeningly annoying it was to pick up either armor, ammo, and all this stuff, because you basically had to, it was so hard to just, like, sometimes in first person shooters you can just basically scan the room and hit the pickup button and you're picking up all the stuff you need. This one I felt like you had to stand there, aim directly on it, get your reticle directly on the thing you wanted to pick up, and press the pickup button. One slight deviation and you were not picking it up. And it drove me crazy.
And those little things like that can genuinely make a gaming experience degrees more terrible.
Especially when a game like Wolfenstein, it's meant to be played run and gun, you're blazing and running fast.
Yeah.
And I just never felt like
there's always so very much to pick up.
Yes.
It's not like that's an infrequent thing.
Right. It happened a lot. And so I ran into that with Wolfenstein a lot. And plus, I don't know. I enjoyed the alternate history timeline of it all. And so I'm interested to see where that goes with Wolfenstein 2. Like I said, I didn't hate the series. What didn't grab me. Doom 2016 was the ultimate, like, how a first person shooter feels to me, because like it was high action, it was crazy intense, the music was just driving this constant just like adrenaline push through the whole thing. I felt like I could spin and fire, like I'm just spinning around shooting guns everywhere, obliterating stuff, and it just felt so smooth and seamless but so hectic, and that's why I loved it.
And we haven't seen Doom 2016 on this list.
No, I don't think we have.
That's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah. Anyways, number 12, Minecraft.
This is a game I have purposely chosen to not play this game because, and this is going to make me sound a little stuck up, I'm sorry, but I honestly can't play that game because of the graphics.
I mean,
like, I get it. I get what it's for, and that's not like what the purpose of the game. And the purpose of the game is to let your imagination run free. Personally, I don't feel like I have that good of an imagination with building things.
Maybe that's why you don't like it.
And that could be the other big reason why I don't like it. But also, too, I don't think I could spend hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours in the game that looks the way Minecraft does.
I totally get your perspective, but I also understand why Minecraft is in the top 50. I don't think it deserves the number 12 spot. I would have put this one in the 30s, I think.
I also understand that it's basically the digital version of Lego.
Yeah.
And I get that. I totally understand why it's so popular. I'm not disagreeing with that. But it's just not for me.
Moving right along, at number 11, we have another installment that I think is just blatant horse apples. We have Ms. Pac-Man.
Let's read what they say.
What? How do they justify this?
In the late 70s, a group of MIT students had a brilliant idea. They could make a series of arcade mod chips and sell them for money. Their Pac-Man chip featured a little creature with legs called Crazy Otto, which proved to be incredibly popular with everyone except Midway, who held the distribution rights to Pac-Man. Fortunately, Midway decided not to sue. Instead, it officially released the mod as Miss Pac-Man. The original Pac-Man created a frenzy, but Miss Pac-Man's new maze layouts and more complex ghost behavior made this sequel infinitely more replayable. Miss Pac-Man even included a series of story animations that told the story of the Pac family, which was incredibly charming for the era. To this day, we can't walk past a Miss Pac-Man cabinet without dropping in a quarter. This one seems to be there for nostalgia reasons.
And nostalgia cannot carry a game this high.
Well, and again, we have to realize that we're coming at this from a different thing. The people who had a hand in writing this probably grew up with Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah.
We did not.
Bunch of old fogies, am I right?
I've played Pac-Man. I've played Miss Pac-Man. They're fun for when I'm like trying to kill time. There was actually a restaurant growing up that had a Miss Pac-Man arcade, and that's when I would play it when we'd go eat there, and I would sit and play it while we were waiting to be seated. That was the perfect amount, and that was the perfect amount of time that I ever needed in Pac-Man.
But that's the thing.
I never felt the need to master Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man.
And for comparison, so let's look at what's at the number 10 spot. It's The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Which absolutely...
Okay, so compare these two games.
Yeah.
Compare Miss Pac-Man and The Witcher 3.
You really can't.
Exactly. You can't. So tell me why. So I know that you're going to agree with this. So why do you think
Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt?
Yeah.
Definitely
so why do you think The Witcher 3 deserves the number 10? So this is the first of the top 10. Why do you think it deserves this spot?
I think it deserves this spot because of the incredible job that CD Projekt Red did with this series. You know, based off a book series. Which I had the first book, and I'm meaning to jump into it and try it out. I know, books are for chumps. I played probably about halfway through the first Witcher game because I wanted to play through the older ones before I got to Witcher 3. Couldn't stand it anymore. Had to jump to Witcher 3.
It's like BioShock. When you go back and play the first one, you're like, man, the newer ones are way better.
It's hard to look. And I had seen gameplay videos of The Witcher 3, and I was like, oh my God, I just can't wait. And caveat, have not yet finished Witcher 3. Because it's one that I will probably take me forever to finish, not because I'm not enjoying it, but because there's literally so much and I want to explore every corner. And this is the one that can take hundreds of hours to finish if you do all that stuff. So I am perfectly fine with I haven't beat it yet, and I'm perfectly fine that it's going to take me forever to beat the game. But as far as like an RPG, man, I haven't played one better. I love the Dragon Age series. Witcher 3 is just it for me.
So then, remind me, have you played our number 9 spot, Elder Scrolls Skyrim?
I have not. And so I know Zach
Is it
has.
Spencer that told you that, or was it Dylan that told you that Elder Scrolls Skyrim would be your favorite game today if you played it? Somebody
One
made
of them
that
did.
comment.
Somebody who's been on the show has. Yeah. And I know, and it's right up my alley with what I enjoy in an RPG.
You can play it on the Switch now, you know.
I know. I can play it on literally anything.
You can play it on literally anything.
How many things?
They've probably put it on mobile by now.
And here's the thing. It's one of those things I haven't got around to it just due to the amount. It's like the same thing with Mass Effect. I haven't played it yet because there are so many other RPGs. I got into the Dragon Age series. I got into the Witcher series. It's hard to then add in another series.
And Skyrim is such a beast.
Skyrim is such a beast. It's one of those things in the back of my head. Like I need to sit down and just grind through it one day to play it so I can say I've played it and to appreciate it for what it is. I definitely agree. I think with its placement, I have no qualms about that.
I'm not surprised at all that Skyrim's in the top 10. And I think that this is probably a good spot for it. I think number 9 is probably appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Red Dead Redemption number 8.
You can talk about this one. Actually, you can talk both of the ones we're looking at here.
Oh, dude, these are awesome.
Okay, so Jared, this is your time to shine.
My time to shine right here. Red Dead Redemption coming in at number 8. As I've talked about before on many on previous episodes, Red Dead Redemption, of the two big series, you know, like obviously we're getting Red Dead Redemption 2 later this year. Super excited about it. And obviously, you know, you would say Grand Theft Auto is Rockstar's bread and butter. Like that's obviously their longest running series. They've made 5 games of them so far. The 5th game has made them buttloads of money. But
I mean, they all made them a ton of money.
Of the two series,
day one.
Red Dead is superior to me than Grand Theft Auto.
And so far there's only one.
Yeah. So, well, there was Red Dead Revolver, which came out PS2, I believe. But Red Dead Redemption was an incredible experience. It made a world that I would honestly say, if you've ever seen, like walked around and seen like Western games on the shelf, you normally pass by.
Pass over them.
You pass over it.
You see that setting and you're like,
Call
it's
of
a hard
Juarez.
no.
I've seen Call of Juarez on shelves and have been like, I should play that game sometime. And then ultimately I'm like, no, that just doesn't grab me. And normally, like I grew up watching John Wayne movies, and I think that might have been a thing that attracted me to this one too. The older 60s and 70s Westerns. This game, it's one of those things. It didn't grab me like emotionally like the Last of Us did. But for the amount of how much I just wanted to ride on my horse, hunt some animals, hunt some bad guys, collect those bounties. Man, it was a fun ride. And it did have a really great story. John Marston was an excellent anti-hero. I loved how you could take him and make him either like a really bad guy or a really good guy. I like to tread the line a little bit but ultimately go for the super good. It entered in a ton of great extra side characters and cast.
Is this woman here in the sidebar someone from the game?
Yes.
Okay. I was about to say, I wonder why they chose this. This is just a tangent. I was like, why did they choose this super confusing formatting of putting the next one on a full page and then Red Dead not on a full page and having this awkward sidebar?
The other like fun thing about Red Dead was it had its Deadeye, which was basically its version of bullet time, basically, which you could just like activate it, put a whole bunch of X's over an enemy, and you could just like whip out your gun and just unload it. It was awesome.
So basically, it's high noon.
It's very much high noon. You could even say that McCree and John Marston bear some similarities to each other.
That could be your thesis.
There we go. From a PhD.
And then number 7.
Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. By far my favorite of the Call of Duty series.
Really? So you think that this is the best one?
This game is the only other game that I've probably put more hours into of a shooter than of any other game.
Oh, okay.
Overwatch is probably my second.
Oh, okay.
But
Sure.
Modern Warfare 4 was like the only game that I even remember playing it, doing like co-op missions with a friend, and spend untold hours in the multiplayer. And it kicked off the more, I feel like it had a very big hand in kicking off shooters from being more World War II centered to more of the modern age, which granted now has gone on for better, for worse, with difference of iterations, and now we're even to like future Call of Duty, with all the different things. But Call of Duty 4 not only introduced all these great new things of being set in the modern age and like more of a spec ops feel to it than just a open warfare, it also had an incredibly great story and introduced great characters like Captain Price that carried on for Call of Duty 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. And just, man, I can still remember playing like this map here, the wet work in the multiplayer, storage or shipment, sorry, in the multiplayer, playing that one. It also introduced, the kill streaks into the multiplayer. So it just revitalized everything about the series in a great way. I definitely deserving of number 7.
And that's pretty much exactly the reasoning that they give writing about it.
Oh,
we
agree.
It's pretty spot on. Personally, I obviously would not put Call of Duty anywhere near my top 10.
Right.
But I get it. I mean, I get why it's up here. Whoops. Okay. Okay, so I understand this one. So number 6 is Final Fantasy VI. I totally get it. Final Fantasy VI is argued by many fans of the Final Fantasy series as the best installment. People will die on their swords for Final Fantasy VI. Obviously, I think that from a mainstream perspective, 7 is the one that has, in terms of quantity, more fans. But 6, the people that have played it, I mean,
7's the one that's getting remade right now.
7's the one. Yeah, it's kind of a sick burn. Sick burn, bro. But from a obviously money-making perspective, obviously game creators think that 7 has the more profit potential. But 6, you probably could argue from a critical perspective, is the strongest installment. I'm not super going to fight this one. I personally wouldn't put it this high, but I get it. I get why it's up that far. Number 5, World of Warcraft, the original one.
I get it. I mean, World of Warcraft is still a huge game. Yeah. It's one that for the safety of my own mind and wallet, have avoided. But I totally get why people love it.
I mean, I did actually play World of Warcraft. I did like a big trial and whatever. I tried to get into it. It's not my style of gaming, and that's just something that's a fact, but I understand why it is number 5. Number 4. Our old buddy, our buddy Zach. I think he would strongly disagree with this.
I actually disagree with this.
Were he here today? Number 4, Grand Theft Auto 5. So you don't think that this deserves this spot?
I don't think number 4. No. I understand.
5.
Yeah. 5.
Oh, right. Number 4. I'm sorry. I misunderstood your meaning. That it doesn't deserve the number 4
It doesn't deserve the number 4 spot.
Okay, my bad.
This is one that I started playing and I fell off. I haven't finished it.
I'm going to cover up this guy's face because he's so ugly.
Trevor?
God, yeah.
I do love Trevor, though.
Okay.
I love the main characters of it, but I don't know. It just didn't grab me. And GTA Online, I know that's where Rockstar is like funding the company for the rest of
forever.
Time. But honestly, I got into GTA Online. I tried playing around with it, and I just got annoyed. because I wasn't willing to spend the money to upgrade everything and to to do it quickly like you can with all the in-game currency to be able to buy the good and the best stuff. And I just got annoyed with it. It took forever to find matches. I kept getting sniped by somebody from bajillion miles away who had a sick sniper rifle. Just kept getting owned in general by it. I do want to go someday back and finish the story because I do know it's one of the best. Some people say it's one of the best one of the series. Zach says that Grand Theft Auto 4 is the best one in his opinion.
Which one has your cousin?
That's 4.
Okay.
And so, but for me personally, no, I don't think it deserves the number 4 spot. I would say top 20. But not the top 10, and especially not the top 5.
Which brings us to number 3, which again is something that I think is just blatantly stupid. Number 3 is Tetris.
Again, I've played Tetris. I played a lot of Tetris, but would I ever consider it in my top 10?
No.
Top 300 even?
No, never.
I mean, it is in my top 300 because I haven't played 300 games. But that one again just seems like rooted in nostalgia.
I just don't think that you can even justify this. I don't think that Tetris.
What's their reasoning?
So they say, okay, move and rotate 7 differently shaped objects as they tumble down the screen. I mean, oh my God.
Again, it's one of those things for its time. Yeah. Revolutionary.
Yeah, because this is 1984 specifically. So Tetris 1984 for the PC. They say that for many, Tetris served as their first introduction to video games. For some, Tetris is a lifelong obsession. There are people out there who still are trying to get high scores. Mm-hmm. They claim that the beauty of Tetris is its simple foundation can accommodate both play styles, both people that want to do it casually and people that want to do it super hardcore. Not to mention the countless other spin-offs players have enjoyed over the decades. They mentioned
it's like I get it. It's one of those, but it's a game for me, and this is me personally. We're not the creators, we're not the editors here at Game Informer and all that stuff. But for me personally, it's like I played it as a kid. And I'm like, they announced Tetris VR, this Tetris effect for PSVR, and I was kind of saw it and I was like, why?
Actually, I was about to make a joke about how I was like, oh, it's good to see that's the last game that VR is going to die on. Because again, like seeing that Tetris got a VR, it's like, why?
Yeah, why? I don't get it. Like, I know you can just make it prettier, you can add music, you can all these do the other things, but like at its core, Tetris is Tetris, and I don't know, it's a.
My argument here is that I feel like when they were getting into the top 10, they started running out of ideas, and I feel like Tetris
felt like they had to include more classic ones
and lazy inclusion. Because Tetris, you can just basically fall back on its legacy, and I kind of feel like that's why it's at the number 3 spot, and I don't think that it deserves that spot.
Okay,
wait, so that means that we got something wrong.
What? Well, wait, let's go.
Okay, yeah, okay, so number
2. Super Mario Bros. 3.
Sure.
It's a great game. It's
I think that's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
I personally would not have put it in the top 5, but I get it.
It's definitely not in my top 10.
And then, so obviously we've made a mistake somewhere along the lines because I thought we had already talked about the number 1.
No, so we must have just talked about the original one in the top 50. In the top 100 to 50.
Yeah, it must have been maybe... I don't know which one it was, but so I made a boo-boo somewhere along the lines. I thought we had already seen it, but The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past.
So you're going to have to carry this one. I have not played this game.
Clocking in at number 1. So I totally get this. I think that of the Legend of Zelda series, there are many, many people that would put Link to the Past in that top spot. I agree that it's one of the best. I have played it recently. Like I said, I think I downloaded it for my Wii and played it through on the Wii. Mm-hmm. It's a fantastic game. It has held up to the test of time. You could go back today and play A Link to the Past and just have a blast. I totally get it. I get why it's number 1. I don't think it's my personal favorite of the series, but...
Like you said, Wind Waker. Yeah. So okay. So I'm wondering if Wind Waker even made this list at all.
It was probably way back in like the 200s or something.
But you're very...
Yeah.
But you agree with the placement of...
I agree with the placement. I also... So this isn't a jab against the game at all. I think that it was the safe choice. A Link to the Past just did so much for gaming and so much for the series. Really, A Link to the Past is... So there was the original Legend of Zelda, right? Super hard, super opaque.
Super hard.
There were the few that came after that, which were still in that 8-bit era. And then there was A Link to the Past. And arguably, A Link to the Past is the game that brought The Legend of Zelda to its current level of fame. I think that's the game that launched LOZ as the juggernaut that it is now. So I understand why A Link to the Past is back there. And again, in terms of how well the game is held up over time, it's solid. It's rock solid. So I totally get it. Congratulations.
All right, well, I'm just double checking really quick to make sure that Wind Waker didn't hit anywhere on here in the ones we didn't cover.
Sue.
Not seeing it yet.
Hang on, I can probably flip faster than you.
Oh my God, water! No, it's empty. Haha. Yeah, because we've already made this one a little bit longer of an episode than we anticipated.
They put Ori way up at 233. That's horse apples.
Super Mario Odyssey hits their list at
they
240.
Put Odyssey at 224.
224.
I disagree with that very strongly.
I don't know. I didn't enjoy Odyssey more than 64.
Man, I guess I thought that Link's Awakening, fantastic game, not better than Odyssey. That's ridiculous. Anyways, we're just going backwards. Prince of Persia, Stanley Cup, Silent Hill 2, FIFA, Amnesia, The Dark Descent, super scary. Assassin's
That makes me sad that none of the Advance Wars, that was a fun game. That none of the Dragon Age games made it into the top 100 that we could talk about them. I love that series.
Portal 2 at number 147. Criminal. It's literally criminal. Let's keep going. Pong. Oh boy.
There's Origins, 141.
There's Origins, yeah.
I don't think Dragon Age.
Soul Calibur, number 130.
This still makes me mad. Horizon Zero Dawn at 132.
No, I think that's stupid
bullshit.
too. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Mega Man X made it into 128.
Oh, there's Majora's Mask.
Yeah, Majora's Mask. Again, okay. BioShock Infinite down here at number 117.
God of War 3 at 119.
Okay, so that makes sense.
So, yeah.
Oh, even Persona 5 made it into 105. That's exciting. But yeah, so if we haven't seen Wind Waker yet,
it didn't make the list at all.
It didn't make it, which is ridiculous.
Unless it was in the top 100, we're just forgetting about it. But I think
maybe we talked about it. I don't know.
I don't remember. That was a couple weeks ago.
Because like I said, I thought that we had already seen A Link to the Past. So my bad.
That must have just been the original. Okay, so there's Super Mario hitting in at 69. Why could they put it at 64 just to make it fun?
Right. It's just, I don't think it's on here.
Oh, there's the original Legend of Zelda.
Wrong.
There's the original Metroid.
Incorrect.
Yeah, no, it didn't make the list.
Wow.
Interesting.
I don't agree with that even a little. First of all of the games deserve to be in the list,
a lot of
period.
Zelda games made it, which is pretty impressive.
And I mean, what does it say about Nintendo that the top 2 games are both theirs?
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo has done a lot, and they have produced some great games throughout their history, and so that makes sense that a lot of their games would even be on this list, would be specifically Nintendo ones.
So, good for them.
But yeah, so good for them other than that.
I think overall, my response to this list is there are too many games that are just in there on their name and their legacy alone. Like Tetris, which that should not have been
to some point holds.
Like, I understand why you could make that argument. I just don't think that from a comparison perspective that those games hold even a drop of water to some of the other games that were put right beside them.
Because you can't ignore what they did. And how they helped formulate the industry so that we could have the Witcher 3s and all the and all this different stuff that we have now that we have today. But yeah, at some point you have to see that I feel like that at some point, you have to be like, this game is great for what it was, but there have become so many things after.
But we've moved on because of what they did. We grew, and now we have all of these way better games.
I agree. I mean, not trying to discount them and say that they weren't great and all that stuff and their legacies that they hold up. But yeah, I felt like, especially as it got higher into the list, especially Tetris sitting at number, what was it?
And Ms. Pac-Man in the top 10 as well. Those are two that I would.
Just doesn't hold for me.
No, I don't agree with that.
So, we've made it through the list. It was a long list, and sorry that this episode has gone a little bit longer than normal. And again, the whole point of this is that Mogan and I are now going to sit down, we're going to take our recent gaming experiences and our gaming histories, and we're going to make our own top 10 list, and we'll have at least another, probably 2 episodes.
I would say 2 to 3.
Because we're going to have strong opinions on
we're going to have strong, firm opinions.
So get geared in for that. Where it's obviously not going to be within the next couple weeks because that's going to be E3 stuff.
E3.
Like next week will be our E3 wrap up episode. Then I don't know what's slated for after that. So maybe after that. But yeah, so at least it's coming soon. Get ready for it. But before we go, we do have to do our soundtrack spotlight for this week. Ark submitted the song for this one from the game Escapegoat. The song's name is Entryway, and it was composed by Ian Stalker. So
I wonder where a Scapegoat was on the list.
It definitely did not make it anywhere.
Poor Scapegoat.
So stay tuned after the close to hear that. That concludes this long, exhaustive episode of Team Chat Podcast. Obviously, we want to know what your favorite games are, and we hope to get a little bit of feedback from everybody once we do our top 10 list. So if you agree, disagree with this list, obviously we had some very spirited debate on Discord after we did our first installment in this series, and I expect we'll have even more debate on this. Now, quick update or reminder again, we are doing a post E3 live episode. That we're going to be recording or doing that live stream on the 18th. I know it's a little bit of a gap in between from when the conference ends to when we'll be doing that. Had some I have some travel plans going, so it wouldn't work for any other time. So quicker to that. So that'll give us plenty of time though to sit, reflect, meditate on what we learned, put together some cohesive thoughts, and we can't wait to talk about all of those with you all on our live stream June 18th. 7:30 p.m. We'll be doing it on our YouTube. So if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll get the notification to when we go live. So, without further ado, let's put this one to bed.
Indeed.
This is the longest episode we've had in a while.
And
I can feel it. It's been a lot of talking, lots of debating. But until next time, I'm one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined by Rachel Mogan.
Adios.
We'll see you all next time. Stick around with the song.